Well, hello baddies and welcome back or welcome to my channel. My name is Kiriana and today I will be doing my first book review on this channel in 7 years. So stick around. So as you can see from the title down below, today I'm going to be talking about Hexed by Emily McIntire. This is part of the Never After series, and I believe this is the last book in the series, which made it very bittersweet for me to finish this book because I have really enjoyed this series. This series is a dark reimagining of fairy tales that we know of, and this one is about The Little Mermaid. We are following our main character, Vanessa, who is inspired by Ursula. We have her cousin Aria, inspired by Ariel. She works for her Uncle T. And then we have our love interest, Enzo. Now, this book is a mafia dark romance, but I feel like this is a very gentle dark romance. I feel like if you're somebody who doesn't like to read super dark books, but you're interested in a book that has a little bit of spice in the story, I think this series is really good for you. Some books have more smut than others, but I feel like this one is really good because this one is a slow burn from hell. Okay, it was the most torturous slow burn I ever read in my entire life. And the payoff was great, but I am learning about myself that I am not a slow burn person. I feel like I'm Goldilocks where I want right in the middle because I don't like insta love either. But you tease me for so long, I get aggravated. I need it to just be in the middle, normal. But if you love a good slow burn, holy crap. 340 pages of slow burn. And this is about a 510 page book. That's a lot. That's a lot. But the story itself was good. And I think something that I've always really loved about the Never After series is the fact that, yes, there is smut and it is at the forefront, but also the stories that she's telling are also really great and intriguing. And I don't feel like she sacrifices storytelling just to be smutty. And that is what I love about this genre, because I love smut. I really do. I'll never deny that. But when I read smut, I do tend to want a good story with it as well. It's very rare where I read smut just for the smut. It's very rare. I want to have the best of both worlds, as Hannah Montana would say. One thing that really surprised me about this book was kind of this underlying theme of how you never know when your last day will come and you need to hold on to the things that you love, the people that you love. And I know that at the time of writing this book, Emily was going through cancer, and you can see how that affected her writing compared to her other stories. I felt like that theme was very at the forefront of everything, and it really touched me a lot because of losing my mother last year, and I loved that message. And honestly, the romance in this book, I felt like was a lot more romantic than some of the other stories that we've had in this series. With it being a mafia book, it was my first time actually experiencing that, which is strange since I do read a lot of dark romance. You think by now I would have read a mafia book, but they've never intrigued me. I just have never liked mafia movies or anything like that, but it was done really well in this story. I did rate this a 4 out of 5 stars on my Goodreads, and the reason I didn't give it 5 was, one, the slow burn really was torturous for me, but also I did feel like that I was able to figure out the big reveals way early on in the story, before I was even halfway through. I think there was one thing at the end that I didn't see coming, and I was like, oh, really? But everything else, I was like, yep, called it. Yep, called it. And I do read a lot, so I know that that's just bound to happen because I have read so much. But I just wanted to be more shocked. And I felt like there was ways that I would have not known what was going on if she would have left certain things out of the story. But that's a personal preference. Again, I really do think that the use of the fairy tales that she uses that inspires her stories is so fun as you're reading to catch on to, be like, oh, I know where that's from. Ooh, I know who that is. I think it's just a really, really fun time. And like I said, I think if you're somebody who wants to read some books in the dark romance genre, but you don't want to be traumatized, and you want something that you can just kind of dip your toe into but not delve fully in, I think the Never After series is actually a really great starting point for you. Again, 5 out of 5 stars. I really do recommend this book. I think Emily's writing is very fast-paced and detailed and descriptive and fun and funny and torturous when it comes to her slow burn. She did that to me in Twisted too, and I remember I was just like, come on, just do it already. But definitely am so glad that I ended up reading this series. I was really hesitant at first because at the time this started coming out, I wasn't really in the dark romance genre yet, and I wasn't a big fan of retellings or reimaginings of fairy tales, except for Once Upon a Time, the TV show. I was obsessed with that show. I still kind of am, even though I haven't finished the last couple seasons because people made me scared too. So there we go. There was my first book review after 7 years, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you have read this book or read this series, please comment down below. Tell me what your favorite book in this series was. How did you feel about Hexed? Please like, subscribe, and share, and stick around for more bookish content.